Okay, I'm live. I thought I'd jump on just a few minutes early and and soon Liza Zurkowskia will be joining me. But for now, this is my studio. While I wait for her to join in. And those are from what I see. Hi. How's everybody doing today? Are you ready for an amazing interview with a really amazing woman? She is a curator. She's an art consultant and now a gallery owner. I can't wait for you to meet her if you don't already know her. She'll be here soon in a few minutes. Hi, Abs. Isn't this cool? Like we're live and technology is pretty amazing. I'm going to wave to everybody. Wave, 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 wave. Liza will be joining us in a minute. So yeah, if you have any questions, we're going to do some Q&A at the end. And oh, there she is. So Liza's joining us now. I'm just going to jump on and we'll just start talking for a little bit. Oh, Abs. Oh, Abs. Let's see. How do I invite? Let's see. There we go. Send me a request. Now we should be rolling.
Hi, Robbie. How are you?
Hi, yay. I was getting a little nervous about not being able to see you.
Yes, I'm here. How are you? How is your day?
Well, it's a pretty beautiful day here today, but it is California. And what about in Canada?
It's very good. Like in Toronto, yesterday was very sunny and warm. Today it's a bit cloudy, but still.
Spring is
very good.
Is on the way, you think?
Yes. It's been a bit chill this spring for Toronto. We usually have like plus 20 during this time, but now it's like plus 7, plus 10 max, but it's okay.
Yeah, here too. It's definitely cold, but now everything, when I walk outside, it's like it bloomed overnight. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought we would just kind of just talk for a couple of minutes, give some people a chance to jump on, and before I ask you all those really important questions.
Absolutely. I love the paintings you have behind you.
Yeah, it's funny. I thought this would be a good place. It kind of looks like I've got 4 eyes.
So this is the ones from your new collection, right?
Yes, this is the one from what I see. It's kind of how it started.
Mm-hmm.
Eyes, and then I thought, well, what if I put my photographs in the middle? Some of which worked and some that didn't. And so yeah, so before I ask you like other questions, I thought it'd be really cool just to get a little bit of background first. Let me introduce you. I'm Robbie Kaye.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say your name, Zurkowskia.
Zurkowskia, yes.
Zurkowskia, is that right?
Yes.
Good. And I thought I had a difficult last name, which is okay. And Liza is a terrific curator. She is an art consultant and now a gallery owner.
Yes.
As an international online gallery, and I am honored to be a part of that. And I started working with Liza. I was trying to figure that out. Was it like 8 months ago?
I think so.
Around 8 months ago. And she has helped my career, my state of mind about my exponentially. And highly, highly recommend if you're an artist or creative of any sort. She is really terrific. She's like, for me, the consultant for dummies. Because I sometimes have so much on my plate, I don't know where to start. Liza actually breaks things down for me per 2 weeks or per week for me to follow, and it really keeps me focused and on the course with my business, and then also creating room to create my work. But as we all know, it is a business, and there are important things I have learned so much. It's been like a crash course education in the art business. So thank you, Liza.
Thank you, Robbie, for your introduction. And I do what works for me. I also recommend for artists. So I myself have a very long to-do list for every day. And like, I don't feel pressured to finish all of it. If there is something I can move for tomorrow or for later in the week, that's okay. Like, you don't need to feel pressured that today is the day I have to finish everything. Just have something structured that you are not guessing, like, what should I do today?
Right.
I have a small plan.
Right. Or I have 24 things to do and I'm going to get them all done today. I don't know if
yes.
or whatever, but I started feeling really anxious. Like, I have to get everything done now. And I was like, okay, this is way too much anxiety every day. So it's
absolutely. Just think about, like, for today, 2 hours I'll spend on social media. That means like content planning, posting, communicating with your followers, following up, making connections, 2 hours of behind the scenes, connecting to people, sending emails, researching calls for art, 3 hours of just painting, enjoying yourself, and 3 hours of entertainment, relaxation, getting inspiration. You also need that.
Yeah. There, I print out the schedule that you send me and I keep it in front of me at all times. And there are some times when I'm like, okay, I'm going to get that. And then there's a day when I look at it like, okay, research SEO. I'm like, okay, it's a research day, and which is a really important day, because without that type of thing, it doesn't really, I don't really get to share my work.
Absolutely. And it's also like, we shouldn't stop learning. And our journey is to create and to learn all these different things. And like, new things come out every day. We have to keep up with everything that's happening with technology, social media, etc.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I wanted to ask you, did you transition into, being a curator and a consultant from being an artist at first?
I wasn't an artist as like part-time, full-time, or as a career. I was painting as a small girl. Back in Russia, we have like a separate art school where you go during high school. So for me, it was 4 years, very classically trained in like landscape, plein air art. So as a hobby, I paint, but my first job I got after my undergrad was working in an artist-run gallery. So for me, I was like an artist assistant, and I saw all the difficulties and anxieties artists might have, talking about the business side, talking about marketing, reaching out. So like, working together and helping her solve all these problems gave me an idea, like, why shouldn't I help everyone else? Because artists need help. They just need to ask for it. They shouldn't do it on their own.
Definitely. And you do a great job at it. It because I think, we all love the creative process, and it's about, for me anyway, it's like, it took me a long time to learn to love the business aspect too.
Mm-hmm.
It was always like, no.
Yes, and it's very important to talk about it too, because going to art school, I had another cohort of artists, because I was in curatorial studies and I have a cohort of artists painting. They weren't talking about how to sell their works or how to reach galleries. They were just focusing on theoretical basis of their works. It's great. It's a great opportunity for your research, but the other side is also important.
Yeah, absolutely. So what made you transition from, or not transition, to also include in your practice and a consultant to open an international online gallery?
Yeah, for me, it was like a natural step. I was working with a lot of artists and creating a roster of creatives that I admire for everything that they do. And I decided, like, I provide art agent services, like I represent artists. Why not to have a platform where I will have everyone on one website where I can send my collectors, so everyone interested to buy an artwork, And like, of course, it's an investment both in my time and in my finances, but I think it's a smart move, especially right now. Digital world is the way to go for at least another 3, 4, 5, who knows, months. So I decided why not to use this time and an opportunity to open it.
That's great. Yeah, that's great. I'm so glad that you did. Um, so speaking of that, do you think that most galleries will be going digital in the months, perhaps years to come, or the next year?
Yes, I think this is the only way to go for us now. And it's a pity if someone don't have a website, because it's important. We can do so many things. We can have sales, we can have online exhibitions where you just have a 3D room, like I don't know how to call it, virtual reality, where you just go and you can go around the room, click on the painting, zoom in. So there's so many opportunities, and we have a lot of free calls for art. Before, old galleries were charging, and now because they need to bring traffic to their website, they're making everything for free so artists can participate and they can bring traffic to the website too.
Right, right. And just as a side note for people looking for those kinds of calls for submission, there's a company out there called Cafe that has, you know, they do it by state, and some of them are there's no fee, but some do have fees, and of course, you know, everybody has to stay afloat. So, but there are both out there. Um, I know for me, I definitely submitted in this last month quite a lot because um, it made me feel proactive, and also
Mm-hmm.
really good to do the calls for submission because even if you don't get selected, you're still getting your work in front of a juror, and
Absolutely.
they'll write you back and say we didn't select you, but we're going to keep your work on file. It's just another seed to plant, really.
Yeah, I usually call it an investment in your career, whether it's financial, like sometimes we have to pay $20, $30. You don't need to apply for 1,000 of those, just select 2, 3, 4 that really resonates with your artwork and your practice. And there are always the free ones. So create a list, find a balance of paid and free ones, and just spend some money, invest in your future. Who knows where this will lead you?
Right, right. And they are for photography, they're for fine art, they're for all kinds of work. And sometimes there's a call for a specific genre that you may,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a specific collection that matches perfectly, you know. Um, so those are really good to look out for. So what would you suggest then for artists who are just starting out? This is an interesting time to be on, you know, the trajectory of growing your art business. What are some helpful hints that you could lend to artists just starting out and also continuing?
Mm-hmm. I would say for both emerging and mid-career established artists right now, it's very important to work on your social media and online presence in general. Like spend a day, go back to your website, see. If imagine yourself as a client, if you go to your website, is it easy to find your artworks? Is it easy to put it in your cart? How is your experience on the website? Is it user friendly or not? Do you have all the important information? Social media, content planning. We have time now, like especially like myself, I used to work almost full time and I had no time to pre-plan content. Now I'm enjoying this time where you can spend an hour and write some paragraphs that you will use for the next week or 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. It's really it's really freeing when you can do that in advance. It's almost like a journal. You're
Mm-hmm.
and it's very even cathartic, you know, as you write
Yeah.
and you plan what you want to say for a certain piece. And so like I could describe my experience with you, but I would love for you to tell people like when you first sign up with a new client,
Mm-hmm.
how do you guide them in their social media, in their to for their steps for their career?
Absolutely. So first of all, we'll look through everything they have, like a full artist portfolio, And that includes your social media, your website, as well your bio statement, your artist statement, your CV, and all like your catalog, images, because it's all important to have this in your folder on your computer. And when the time comes to submit for a call for art or for exhibition, you have that folder available. So we go through all those documents, and it makes easier for artists to act later.
Right, right. That's what you did with me. And you gave me a synopsis of what was working, what wasn't working. And now is actually, you know, if there's silver linings, a really good time to concentrate on going back to your website or your social media goals and by kind of creating or embellishing the foundation that you already have.
Absolutely. And another thing I also talk to artists is about pricing your works, because this is very important and it's a hard topic for artists. Like, am I charging too little or too much? How to have a structure to my painting? So sometimes a lot of artists say like, oh, I will look at another artist and I will have the same pricing. It doesn't work that way. That person have a different experience, different exhibitions. You're not going to just copy someone's pricing. It should be based on the number of materials you use, number of hours you spent on creating your works, and etc., etc. It's a long story, but like you have to have a structure.
Yeah, no, and I think something that I, you know, full disclosure, still grapple with, particularly now, is the asking for the sale. You know, but I think it's a very important component. You know, I can make work all day long and even do social media, but I'm really only, even at my, you know, at my age, at this stage, really beginning to embrace the concept of, oh, and it's for sale.
Yes, absolutely. I remember the first times we were sending newsletters together. And like, I truly believe that newsletter will work. And we saw that you sold some works through your newsletter. Like, you have to have a call for action for people on your newsletter, on your social media. This is available. Direct message me. Go to my website. Like, you need to constantly remind people who you are and what's your product.
Right. It's like you have to get behind your product now. And, you know,
yes.
There's a colleague of mine, Catherine Pitt, who, you know, during all of this, she put her work out, you know, on her street, and she's been that way. But that is the coolest thing, you know, and probably it was probably like that a very long time ago for artists who, you know, were selling their work on the side of a road and sitting with it. And, you know, because you still want to share it, and we want to make money. I mean, it's a business. So, yeah. What advice would you give artists in terms of pricing? How do they learn to price their work?
There are two formulas that we usually use as square inch pricing and linear pricing. So I can also share with everyone after this call a link to where you can read more about that. You can also share it on the story, but basically, like, you have a formula and you calculate based on the size of the canvas. But I also recommend, on top of that, you should also think about everything that you use to create your work or to be an artist or for your art practice. Like, for example, if you speak to your clients over the phone, think about your phone bill as part of your expense. Or if you use internet to send emails, or if you have to drive to your client to show, to talk, etc., think about your gas bill also as part of your expense. As well as if you will be shipping your works, think about that you will have to spend money on wrapping, on the box, have it included in prices.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's a business.
It is. You have to be smart. You don't want to pay out of your pocket for things.
Right.
You shouldn't.
Right. So maybe we could open it up for some questions. I'll have to get closer to see. Does anybody?
Yeah, you can scroll up because I think there are a few questions at the beginning.
Okay. Let me go back. How do I accept and be get curation with the galleries in Ontario?
Reaching out to galleries, it's a very, very hot topic for artists. Right now, of course, it's a tough time. Our physical galleries are closed, but I usually recommend, if you're in Toronto or in Ontario, go and talk to the gallery owner or people in the galleries in person. If you don't have this chance, if you're from US or from Europe, for example, reach out. Send a very, very smart email where you attach your portfolio, where you attach your small catalog. You don't need to send 20, 30, 50 images, just attach 5 to 10 and say, this is a snapshot into my practice. This is my website. This is my social media. If there's any opportunity to work together, I'm happy to ship my works to be included in your upcoming shows. There is a possibility that you're not going to get any response back. That happens. Galleries have a lot of emails. Sometimes this gallery is not just for you, and that's okay too. There are so many galleries. Don't feel discouraged. And sometimes you'll get a negative response, and that's okay too, because you tried, you got a response, and that's okay.
Right.
Keep going.
Right. It's like, I posted the other day about celebrating your rejections, which aren't really rejections. Mm-hmm. And so after you send your letter to the galleries or to whoever you're reaching out to, what do you suggest is an appropriate follow-up process?
I would say wait for at least a week. You don't want to be very pushy. When we say don't be pushy in sales, but it's, again, in making a connection, you have to wait a little bit. People might be busy, especially during spring, summer, fall time, where we have very high events and exhibition season. Like sometimes galleries are busy with communicating with the artists who they have for the show, communicating with the clients, event planning, etc. Right. Like they might see your email and say, like, I will reply back after I finish all my exhibition planning. That might be in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks, in a month. Like, it's okay to send a reminder email. I would say like in a week and a half, in 2 weeks. Yeah. Don't rush it.
Yeah. And I think timing is important, because you're not going to get of Art Basel or, one of those crazy nutty times. And I just wanted to interject that if there's anybody out there that is stuck or just getting started, Liza is amazing to work with to get you started in writing those kinds of emails. So I just wanted to let everybody know that you're great at that. Even for people who've done it, and I've been marketing myself, for a very long time, but I definitely needed a jump start, and that was great. Any other questions? Let's see. How do you advise to handle shipping?
It depends. If you have a shop on your website, usually there is an option to automatically calculate your shipping. I think it's like for the premium plans. If you don't have a premium plan, you can always work with companies like FedEx, UPS, all the big companies. Call them, talk to the representative and say, like, I will be shipping my works. This is my regular sizes, and this is the weight of the box. How much I will have to pay for shipping. And then when someone inquires, you will say the shipping will be extra, or you can include shipping in your price and say on the website shipping is included.
Yeah, right. Shipping and handling. And also when you call those places to inquire about that, you'll also want to find out the cost for insurance.
Absolutely. Like, I don't know how it's in the US, but in Canada, we have a website. It's called eShipper for all the people watching from Toronto. So basically, you just put 2 addresses if you know your client's address, and you put the amount of your painting, what's it worth, and then it shows you the value, including insurance.
Right. That's great. Yeah. I made the mistake a couple of years ago. I had a show in Spain, and I shipped all my work, and I insured it at what I thought it was worth, and it cost over $200 for the person who was receiving it to get it out. Mm-hmm. Always good to find out what that entails on the other side when you're shipping internationally anyway.
Yeah, I can give you a very an example that happened to us not long ago. So one of my artists, she created a painting on a rolled up canvas, so it wasn't framed. So it was easier for her to ship to US and it was cheaper. So she put it in the box. It was like this small, and she wrote art supplies. So she didn't want to write an artwork just in case no one steal it or whatever. So when the customer got the box, it was empty. She didn't insure it. The canvas disappeared, so someone probably opened it. Oh. And she had nothing to do. She had to create a new one. So insurance is very, very important.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, I think, are there any other questions before I ask Liza about working with her and letting you know where you can contact her? Anybody? Okay, so what is the best place for people? How can they get in touch with you, to work with you, to get a consult? Consult process.
So the two places that I'm always available is my Instagram. So if you go to Curator on the go, one word for the handle, I have a multi-link in my bio. So you go there and you can find my website. You can find all my services there. So you can basically click and go. Or you can go directly to my website. It's www.curatoronthego.com. Same thing. You have all my services, all the prices listed.
That's great. And also Liza she's been doing a live at 2 p.m. on Thursdays, 2 p.m. US time, I think.
And 5 p.m. Toronto time. So if you're available, if you're interested to learn other artist stories about how they're coping with disappointment, stress, and all this situation that is happening right now, and how they're trying to stay creative and positive, join me live at 5.
Absolutely. Liza, thank you so much for this time and for sharing your knowledge. And of course, I'm indebted for the work that we do together, and I look forward to creating wonderful things in the future. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Robbie, for this opportunity. It's always great to chat with you, and I'm a big fan of your works. So keep shining and sharing your talent with us.
Well, thank you. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. I know you enjoyed it, and maybe we'll do it again soon.
Absolutely. Anytime.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.